Hello guys, welcome to another video in this React series. In this React tutorial, we'll be building a simple React component that makes a HTTP request using Axios. This is a common scenario in which in your day-to-day work, you need to fetch the data from an API or JSON file or any external data file. For this example, I'm going to use a JSON file or data file which is residing in JSON placeholder website. As you can see here, we have different data which we can fetch in our application. To do this one, let's open the code editor first. Here I have created a separate component for this example by name Axios get request. The first step to fetch the data from an API is, as we are using Axios here, let's install that one. For that one, let's open console window in your application and here type npm install Axios. This command will install the necessary packages and files which are required for API communication. Once Axios is successfully installed, the first step in our component is we need to import the necessary packages. So let me import React from React library and Axios from Axios library. Then let's create a functional component here by name Axios get request. Currently we have a skeleton for this one which will return a simple header by name get request using Axios. And at the end add export default Axios get request. This will export this component so that we can use this one in our main file app.js file. As we have imported this one in our main file, let's save this one and go back to browser to preview how it is looking before applying logic for getting an API data. As you can see here, header 1, that is the content which we have added as of now in our component. So that's being displayed here. Let's go back to our code editor. Here let me populate some of the code for fetching the data. If you observe here, we have use effect hook, and within that hook we are defining the code here. This use effect hook is used to perform side effects in functional components such as fetching data or interacting with any APIs. As here we are going to interact with an external URL, we are using this use effect. And within this use effect hook, we are going to define the URL which we are going to fetch the data in a variable by name URL. As we are going to use Axios here, Axios provides us very easy way to get the data from an API. So here we are adding the code axios.get as we are interested in getting the API data. And within this get method, we are defining the URL which we have defined here. Once we get the data from this URL, then we are storing this one in response. Once it is stored the data in response, then we are printing this one by using console.log, and whatever the data which will be reside in response, to get this data we need to use response.data. Then at the end we are writing a catch block which will display error message whenever there is an error. So these are the simple steps which we need to follow. Just to summarize, we are going to use effect for side effects in functional components in React. And initially we are fetching the URL and storing it in a variable, and then by using Axios get method we are fetching the data from this URL. Once it is processed, we are displaying the data by using console.log. So that's it, what you need to do to fetch the data from an API. Let's save this and go back to browser to preview this one. In browser, open the console window by inspecting this page. You can observe here we have received the data from an URL. So when you expand this one, you can observe we have received all the data which is in our this sample API file. If you keep on expanding this one, you'll get more data about this object which we have received here. So this is a basic example of making a GET request using Axios in a React component. You can build upon this foundation to create more complex applications that interact with different APIs. Thanks guys for watching this video. If you like this, please click on like button, share it with others and subscribe to my channel.